For those of you who don't know him, I stole from his channel the idea of doing the monthly update on the accounts. He does this well log, right, on every game he plays. And I was okay, that's a cool concept. So I took that and I made it like just one video for everything instead of for all of the games, like one video. I do one for all of the games, right? Which is the gacha grind. Right? We stole that from him. God bless the whole. We adapted it a little bit, we changed it, we changed the flavor, and there we go. Now he calls himself the gacha god. Could be. I am the king of Kumar games. He might be the god of gacha. We shall see, right? We shall see. We shall judge.
Hey, how's it going? It's your boy Asian Psycho, aka Toy Sniper 98, but you can just call me Tuhu. And I am the god of gacha games.
How many gachas is he playing currently? I know he plays a lot of them. A lot of them. I stopped following the guy. He's kind of addicted to his viewers' superiority complex. I only watch him on the stream sometimes, so I don't know, how he's in real life or anything. But from what I've seen, I enjoy what I've seen.
In case you couldn't tell by that montage just now, I'm a big fan of gacha games. Quite a few of them, in fact, and 11 of them to be precise.
11 fucking gacha? Bro, I do Nike. I do like 3 Chinese random games, right? We do like Girls Online 2, Tricao, and I a lot of days forget to do them. And I use Reverb, so like 4 gachas maybe?
Those are in chronological order of when I started playing them: FGO, Girls Frontline 1, Azure Lane, Arc Knights, Genshin Impact, Blue Archive, Nikke, Star Rail, Ether Gazer, Snowbreak, and most recently, Wuthering Waves.
He plays a couple of really expensive ones. I'm interested to see how much he spends every month. That's fucking expensive.
That's not even all of them either, technically. I tried out Magie Record and Toho Lost Word back in the day, and I plan to pick up Z3 when it comes out. Hell, by the time you see this video, it'll probably already be out. And I've got my eyes on 4 more, in no particular order: Girls Frontline 2, Arc Knights Enfield, Project Mugen, and Azure Permilli.
Okay, he might be the god of gachas. He might actually be, right?
Quick addendum, I recently found out about Magia Record Exedra, which from the screenshots we have so far, seems to basically be Star Rail, but with Maguka characters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are changing a couple things for this game because they got quite a bit of shit for basically be Honkai Star Rail, literally, right? Azure what? Azure Familia. That's the next game from the developers of Azure Lane.
And a 5-character team instead of 4. So out of morbid curiosity, I'll try that out once it comes out later this year. Second addendum, I'll also be trying out NTE when that game comes out. Here's to hoping it'll do better than Tower of Fantasy, and hopefully Hotta Studio hasn't stolen even more assets from MiHoYo.
Nah, you're asking too much, okay? They will steal some assets, use AI for the others, and we will find out over time, which is free content.
Some of y'all might hear this and go, yeah, sure, whatever, buddy. There are people on Twitter who show off how many gachas they play, and they got so many more on their phones or whatever. Oh, don't you worry, I know about those tweets too. And sure, the sheer number of gachas they got looks impressive until you realize that usually more than half their games haven't even been updated in months. Nah, little bro, that ain't shit. Cause you know why?
All right.
Any little dipshit can download a whole bunch of gacha games and tweet a picture of them.
He's actually mad. He actually is mad about the people posting as gacha gods, right?
Phone saying that they're addicted to gacha games. Your name can be Lakari, and you can scream all you want about how you're the Lord of Gacha or whatever, whenever you're not pissing yourself in League or Epic 7 PvP. My question is, how many gacha games do you actually play? As in, not even just logging in, I mean keeping up with the content, like
3 maybe.
dailies.
Nikke has River Girls Online 2, and that's it, Tricao as well. Like 4 games, and we forget about them sometimes. And I think that's already like pushing it, considering how much time it takes usually. So I don't know how he finds time for 11 gacha games. Or 7 Cat Fantasy. Cat Fantasy was a great one to play for a month, and then drop it.
Rolling for new characters on a regular basis, unless you're saving for a future character, of course, completing events, etc. Because that's exactly what I've done with almost all my gachas for the past 7 years.
Now, I'm gonna be honest 1 second here, okay? This is not an achievement. I'm gonna be honest for a second here. This is not an achievement. All right, just saying, like, it's pretty cool, but
Take a closer look for yourselves.
Girls for Online, yeah, Girls for Online went from this to Girls for Online 2, bro. It's so big in terms of like the difference. I mean, they did neural cloud in between if you want, and the other single player game on Steam. So it's not like only those games, but big difference in like production quality from the first game to neural cloud a little bit to now Girls for Online 2. 2 for me, that's enough. Not an achievement, it's a resume. It's a fucking CV.
排除完了。
Oh, best game? I am not sure right now because I haven't watched his logs in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he used to max out characters in like a lot of the games he plays, right? Like in like a lot of the games he plays. So I will be curious to see if he speaks about like how much he spends on like in a monthly basis, just out of curiosity.
Alright, so you get the idea. I'm kind of big on gachas, but why does that matter? Well, remember how I said earlier that any random motherfucker can pretend like they have a gacha addiction, right? Well, ever since Genshin Impact came out and made the gacha genre explode into mainstream popularity, I've seen a lot of new people enter the scene, both normal players and content creators alike. And holy fucking shit, the sheer amount of cluelessness people have when it comes to gacha games is mind-blowing, dude.
I can agree, right, to some degree that a lot of people who play Genshin think that it's all there is to gacha games. But I don't think a lot of people are calling themselves gacha addicts or that it's a problem, right? You know, if you want to call yourself gacha addict, you can. Most of us meme around with the gambling addict term a lot.
Dude. Granted, a lot of these newcomers have never played gacha games before. Hell, most of them probably didn't even know what a gacha game was before Genshin Impact showed up.
100%.
So, of course, there was always going to be...
Even most of the big gacha creators only play like the mainstream games. They don't touch anything else. What we consider like the normal gachas, the Chinese gachas coming out, all of the idols, all of the normal gachas that were before the open world ones. The open world ones, I can't like, bro. I can't fucking like them.
Some dumb shit, sure. But that doesn't make the fact that, you know, some, more like a lot, of takes and interactions I see out there on Twitter and other social media platforms any less fucking brain dead. And as a gacha CC myself, I see a lot of these so-called gacha content creators, even though the only gacha games that they actually play are Hoyoverse games and Wuwa. Gee, I wonder why that is.
I mean, to be fair, okay, like I understand his point, but that is a gacha CC at the end of the day. If they play the ones that get the most views, it's because they like money, like everyone else does, okay? We have a goal right on the bottom there as well. Even though I don't play those games anyway, right? We will play our great Hummer games only, but still, they play those games because they are the most popular one. You literally make the more money with them. You're not gonna be making the same amount of money with Nike or with BA or with the random idle games we play. Be it fucking Haze River or normal Girls Frontline. FGO has a really good community, so it's
the only other content that's related to gacha that they consume are either from sponsors or trailers that they watch for easy React Andy content. Your name?
Yeah, I hate people who react to content, bro. I don't know who will do it.
Asmongold, and you can shit all over Zenless Zone Zero, and yet still think it's a good idea for some reason to spend enough money for E6 Daniel Alter and Honkai Star Rail? Jesus, I guess MiHoYo sponsorship money really does hit different, huh? How about you stick to talking about MMOs and doing your best moist critical impression, talking about whatever the hot topic of the internet is at the moment, Zach?
Alright, he's going in fucking hot. Okay, so I understand what he's saying. Right? Like I understand that he doesn't doesn't like people getting into the community, or toadies that only talk for a sponsorship and then leave. But that's good for the community. If Hoyo sponsors a big creator to talk about Wuwa, sorry, Hoyo Wuwa, I'm a fucking retard. If Hoyo sponsors someone to play Genshin for 2 days, that's great for the game. More people coming in and watching it. If Nike decides to sponsor a big VTuber, that's great for us because we're getting more eyes into the game, more people who will consume content and might get interested on it. Now, is it true that those people only care for those 2 days for the money? Yes, it's their job. They care because they are getting paid to care, not because of anything else, right? Now, is it true that a lot of people talk about gacha games without understanding them? As Mongol include, talks a lot about gacha games without understanding them. But
so unfortunately for the gacha game community as a whole, most of the streamers or YouTubers you know or even watch can only really talk about gacha games through the lens of a big name one like Genshin, Star Rail, or now most recently Wuwa. And while those are some of the biggest gacha games out there, sure, they're by no means the only ones. Like, would you believe it when I tell you that gacha games as a whole are so much more than just Hoyoverse and Kuro Game? Even for the content creators who have a history with gacha games of their own, even before Genshin Impact was a thing, I'd like to ask, how many of them still play their old gachas now? For example, I knew Tectone back when he still made Arknights content.
I mean, to be fair, you don't need to play the same game for 8 years. Like, what he's done is an achievement to be able to play 11 games for as long as he's done it. But that doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. When you stop enjoying a gacha game, stop playing it, right? If you stop enjoying a gacha, drop it, go to the next one. You know less, or you're not going to be a worse creator or a worse gacha player, all right? The addiction meme is great, but when it actually becomes true, it can be a problem.
He doesn't anymore, obviously, but hell, it wasn't that long ago that he played Nikke, and Shift Up even sent him some kind of like swag box or something, if I recall correctly. And when was the last time he played Nikke on stream? I know Fob Masters played.
Every company does the same. You don't have to sponsor the creators that already play your game because they're already doing it for free. Why would they care to send a package to Sky, Soaks, whoever is making Nikke content with big numbers? They're already making the content. You send that to people who are not playing your game to get the new eyes into it. That's like collaborations in gacha games. They are not meant to please the current player base. They're meant to attract new players, right? They will please some people, but we've seen this with Nikke. We've seen this on every collab. Every time they've done a collab, the only one that people were more or less happy overall for everything was Nier, because the fan service. The others, it was like, okay, 50-50. 50% people happy, 50% were like dog shitting on the collab itself. But it is what it is. You're not allowed to drop. Whoa.
Gachas for even longer than I have, technically, but as far as I'm aware, the only ones he actually keeps up with now are, you guessed it, Hoyoverse and Wuwa. I'm aware Mr. Pokey came from gachas like Counterside before he made a name for himself in Star Rail, but again, does he keep up with his older games, or has he ditched them completely?
I understand his point, but it makes no fucking sense. You don't have to keep up with the old games. You're a content creator, you're making it for the money. If you're doing it for the love of the games, you can't keep playing the old ones. But people who are doing it for money will go to new games and will keep playing the ones that are getting better metrics because you're running a business. And if you want to run a successful business, you should stay on the positive metrics. What annoys me in the sponsor streams that don't acknowledge that they are a sponsor, which is technically illegal. It depends on the country, sadly, but yes, a lot of people will not acknowledge that they are getting paid to stream a specific game. Is just now gatekeeping? Yeah, sounds like a little bit of gatekeeping, which makes no sense, but again, we will watch the whole thing and see.
Now that he gets thousands of people watch and play the more popular ones. For the record, my intention isn't to go after anyone in particular. Again, I'm just using the ones that I mentioned so far as examples. But even if they do keep up with their older gacha games, then let me ask, how many of them do they still play? Is it as autistic as my own gacha account where it's now default?
Okay, he's self-aware at least, right? That this is an autistic achievement. Which is fucking huge. 11 games for 7 years.
how many of them do they still play? Is it as autistic as my own gacha account, where it's now devolved into like the double digits? Oh, and by the way, their job is to be a content creator, by the way, while I'm currently stuck in a shitty 9 to 5 that takes me out of the house for almost half the day. Because I don't know about them, but FGO is my oldest gacha game, the very first one I started 7 years ago at this point, and I'm still playing that shit. Archetype Earth and Proto Merlin are right around the corner after all, so I can't stop now. Matter of fact, I made a whole ass video detailing.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, right? He spent 80k, 80 grand in 6 years on all of those games in total. It sounds kind of bitter that he has a 9 to 5 and he cannot make full-time content. I'm not sure if that's like the whole context of the video, but it is what it is. I'm pretty sure he's American. I'm not 100% sure, but you live on a country that is more expensive too, right? I live in Spain. I don't need a lot of money to be able to do content full-time instead of a 9 to 5. You have to take advantage of what you can. If you cannot do content full-time and you're spending 80 grand in 6 years in gacha games, maybe you should have saved that and go free-to-play. There is plenty of content creators doing free-to-play content, by the way. Like a lot of them. And even myself, I spend like, what, 200 on all my gachas a month, top 200. I don't spend more than 200 a month. Because why would I do that? Considering then I would not be able to pay fucking bills. I don't know. Sounds like a kind of like
personal history with all the gacha games that I play and where I'm at with those games today. If you want to check that out, link in the description or at the end of the video. So naturally, I got a lot to yap about when it comes to gacha. And not only do I come at them from a different angle than most of the gacha CCs.
I'm pretty sure that's only one game he spent 80k. 80k in 6 years, that's more than a house mortgage. Won't get a game audience like that. He probably never will be full-time. He's very pleasant to watch, in my opinion, with his tone. I mean, but that applies to everyone. A lot of people don't want to watch me because how I talk, my accent, how I look, like a lot of things, right? Even though I'm the most handsome gacha creator out there, but you know, it is what it is. People have bad taste.
You know, but also, I ain't afraid to talk about shit that most others simply won't. Some of the things I've talked about on stream before or in videos on this channel are how to improve Genshin Impact as a game, why Arknights is the best gacha game you can play right now, the differences between old school and new age gacha games, what direction I want gacha games to go in, my thoughts on Wuthering Waves as a Genshin clone, why meta in gacha games is overblown as fuck, and why I think Panakini's story in Star Rail was painfully mid.
Actually, really cool fucking videos. I agree with the meta one. I think, I mean, even myself, right? I run a wiki, I'm biased, but people take tier lists way too fucking seriously. People will see a tier list and will base their accounts and everything, how they play, on that. Be it Pridewine, be it NikkeiGG, be it whatever tier list you're looking. And it is overrated. Like, you should just use it as a reference, but people take it as a gospel. Same for, it's even worse on bigger games. So, for example, Honkai and Wuwa, it's a lot worse than it is for Nikke, for example. But yeah.
The Hoyoverse fanboys aren't gonna like that last one, are they? I think that the single biggest thing that you should take away from this video is the fact that I've played so many gacha games for so long that I basically have no choice but to be real with you when it comes to anything gacha. It's to the point where I've never taken a sponsor to play a gacha game before, and I probably never will because gacha games can be bullshit, and
Update. Given how broke I am at the moment, I might have to.
don't want people out here making the same mistakes that I have over the years, besides making the biggest mistake of picking up gacha games to begin with, of course.
But that's not the problem. The problem is not knowing when to stop spending money. Once again, if we're talking about how much you've spent on how long you've been playing these gacha games, that's a lot of fucking money. There's people who can afford that. There's people who cannot afford that. If you cannot afford to pay all of your bills and to put a little bit into savings every month, you should not be spending on gacha games. It's as simple as that. It's just pretty fucking basic financials at the end of the day, right?
The vast majority of other gacha game CCs out there either have contracts with gacha game developers in some way, like through sponsored streams or voice acting work, or they simply don't have the same breadth of knowledge and experience as I do. Not for now.
Okay. Let's being confident is always good, but you know.
work, or they simply don't have the same breadth of knowledge and experience as I do, not for now at least. So it's almost like an obligation of sorts to me at this point that I start making videos like these. As we all know, Genshin Impact was what truly made gacha mainstream, but Genshin was such a huge runaway success that it caused the gacha genre to escape their usual audience, and to this day you'll still get a ton of people out there whose only or one of the only gacha games that they play is still Genshin Impact. So my goal is to try to be a bridge of sorts to connect the Hoyoverse and now the Wuwa audience to the rest of the gacha genre. The big gachas are so big that they're pretty much outliers as far as gacha games go in terms of how much popularity they have and how much social media attention that they get compared to, most other gacha games, which means that you get some
I mean, it's cool to try to have like a bridge between those type of two games. The issue, or the biggest issue that I will say that is with that, is that if you want to be a bridge between casual players who only play mainstream games and the coomers who play normal gacha games, the fucking degenerates that we all are here, right? If you want to be a bridge between that, you cannot be an asshole. Because if you're an asshole, those casual players will want nothing to do with you. Like the attitude for the casual players that are playing the mainstream games, they want someone like Seox. They want someone who's chill, who talks about the games and explains things. Right? They are the most casual people who know nothing about gachas, how they're made, the monetization behind them, everything else. So it's like, attitude is gonna be a lot better.
some really weird takes and dumb shit that come crawling out of the woodwork.
What's
To
up,
be
Toshi?
fair, you're always gonna get weird
Someone like Sefhi, no, not someone like me. Most casuals don't even watch content creators 100%. Most people who are just enjoying the games don't even consume content.
shit whenever a
Soaks? No. Seox. Bosso. This guy. The Genshin one.
community for anything online crawling out of the woodwork. To be fair, you're always gonna get weird shit whenever a community for anything online gets to be big enough, but hey, I've sat back for long enough watching enough people, put out enough brain-dead takes on social media, so it's about time I did something about it myself. And as far as I see, ain't no
Okay, that's a good take, but this video is about people saying they're addicted to gacha, and you saying, no, I am more addicted. So far, that's been the video.
Anybody else out there who's better qualified to put out some hot gotcha takes.
Oh, this is the streams that I've seen when he has like all of the gachas on a stream. It's pretty cool. That's a lot of fucking gachas though. A lot of gachas. Also, it's cool to see it, but it's kind of pointless because clearly even if more than half of them are games you can play on auto, you cannot pay attention to all of them, right? Like you cannot pay attention to all of them. It's pretty cool to see it.
On me, and I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm just being real. That and
Now, there is a really fine line between being honest and being an asshole. A really fine line that a lot of people have issues identifying.
given all
Say
the
it,
somewhat
okay?
recent content creator drama that's been going down for about the past half a year, this community needs some actual halfway decent content creators ASAP. You know what?
Okay, that sounds a lot that like Iyo when he said the CCC community needs content creators like me. So, I don't know. It's the way you word things sometimes.
But fuck it, us gacha CCs seem to love farming drama. I mean,
That's
just go
me.
look at Techie's YouTube channel for God's sake. And I ain't so above it all myself. Hey, I got Sniper in my name after all, so let me take a few shots too. MTash constantly saying that he's gonna quit a gacha
Mtash is so fucking good. Mtash is like, I'm playing a new gacha game. It's the best one. I'm dropping this gacha game. Hey, again, it does take views though, but putting Mtash as an example for anything gacha makes no sense. Like, Mtash barely plays any gachas nowadays. Tecton reacts to content. Like, you cannot put them as gacha content creator examples because they are bad examples. You have to put people who are actually playing gacha games, right?
game, especially after he loses a fucking coin flip. Channels with names like Gacha Gamer, and yet 99% of the content is nothing but Hoyoverse and or Wuwa. Streamers playing a whole bunch of different gacha games for a month each, or hell, even just a day, and then
Let me see. Nike playing a new gacha every day. Oh, that's a cool concept. We should steal that. August gacha. Ooh, should we do December gacha and play a new one every day? But again, that's just a new type of content. In fact, this girl, whoever the fuck she is, I don't know who she is, right? That's a cool concept to do that no one else is doing. So why would you be mad at someone playing a gacha every day, bringing visibility to that gacha and more eyes to those players? I don't know.
Thinking they know enough about him to somehow make a whole ass
I
tier
should be
list
the
out of
only
him.
mother getting
Fobmaster
praise because I don't spend money.
thinking they know enough about him to somehow make a whole ass tier list.
Apparently, there's also a YouTuber who plays different gacha games for a full month each and then reviews them. I can't find their channel though. I'm assuming he is referring to Psyche. Now, the thing with Psyche, I'm gonna be honest, he is one of the best channels for gacha games right now. He is super cool as well. He always put his references on the bottom. Like when he used to be making Nikke content only, for example. Every time he was making a review, he always, because he's not a theory crafter. He is someone who takes information and puts it on a format that's super easy to understand for everyone, right? And he will always be putting all of his reference on here. And of course, like he's using like the best reference website that there is out there, lootandwaifus.com. Exactly, it's not promo, honestly. You know, it's just being honest at this point. But those content creators are the good gacha content creators. So I don't know.
List out of him. Fobmaster trying to play FGO, Envy having an inflated ass ego all because he doesn't spend money on a fucking phone game like that.
Okay. The same way people have egos because they don't spend like money, they are free to play, right? Like I should be the only motherfucking getting praise. It's his same attitude because he plays more gacha games and he spends more money than other people, like which makes no fucking sense.
It's supposed to be some kind of achievement.
I should be the only mother getting praise in the Genshin community because I don't,
don't
spend
spend
money
money
on Genshin Impact.
Tectone attempting to not soyjack in every other thumbnail of his YouTube videos, challenge impossible, and Lakari having the most brain-dead takes about gacha, such as how Wuthering Waves is dead just because Genazad isn't playing it, because roasting Lakari's ass once already clearly wasn't enough. And these are the kinds of people you watch for gacha content?
No, they are the popular gacha content creators. That's like saying you watch Asmongold for MMO content. No, you don't. He's popular because his reaction and also because he used to be known for gachas. But those are not the people. The people who are enjoying gacha games don't watch those creators or might watch them only as a source of entertainment for the dramas. Literally, that they watch the content creators that are making actual guides on those videos. I don't know. Feels kind of a pointless rant.
Jesus fucking Christ, no wonder people shit on gacha games so damn much.
But people will always shit on gacha games. It's an awful monetization system. 90% of them are shit games. The ones we play include, okay? There's barely any gameplay. It's about how much money you spend. Yes, you can be free to play, but gacha games are bad. People will shit on them, and they have reasons to. It's not about the big ones.
But I think you get the point, so now it's time for me to terrorize the gacha community from here on out and show all you Hoyotards what the real gacha experience is like. And hopefully it'll be better than whatever bullshit y'all had to deal with for the past 4 years. So if you want to come along for the ride, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. I'll have videos coming out shortly talking about a variety of gacha stuff. And hey, maybe y'all can even suggest stuff for me to talk about in future videos down in the comments below. I also dual stream to both YouTube and Twitch, so that way you guys can watch me wherever you want. Tuhu on YouTube and ToeSniper98 on Twitch. So stop by if you guys got anything you want to ask me in regards to gacha, or if you think I'm just a fraud and you want to talk shit, that's fine too. I enjoy roasting dumbasses in my chat whenever they show up, so it works out. Speaking of streaming, I'll be starting a subathon tomorrow from when this video.
I know, his attitude reminds me of Tecton as well, right? Like that aggressive persona, but he is also kind of arrogant. Tecton is just loud. He has no filter, but there's a difference between that and arrogance. I don't know, it feels like a pointless run. The core message is actually great, trying to have a bridge, trying to fill the gap between casual players and what is considered the normal and the actual gachas most people play, right? Outside of those casual ones. But the problem is how that message is delivered.
Video goes live on October 14th. So I hope to see y'all there so that you guys can see what a real gacha god looks like in action. Thanks for watching. Look forward to more content.
Isn't that a gacha slave, not the gacha god? Yeah, it could be considered a gacha slave more than a gacha god at this point, considering how much time he has to spend. Also, his point about, ranting about how other creators are getting more views with simple gacha games with the mainstream gacha games while he has to have a 9 to 5. It just sounds bitter. It sounds like a bitter video. But hey, it is what it is. I don't think it's a bad video at all. The core message was good. The delivery, in my opinion, was fucking awful. That said, let's go do our Nike dailies as good gambling addicts that we are.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。